Alrighty, let me double check something real quick. Make sure we're muted over there. We're good. Good afternoon, Arkansas. This is Chief Forecaster Cameron and our Executive Director Rich here. We're here to give you guys a Q&A live stream here before things start getting active later on this afternoon and this evening. We have multiple threats of severe weather here. Not only today, but we've got tomorrow, we've got Thursday, we've got Saturday and Sunday to talk about here. So those are in the comments here. Hopefully you guys can hear us. The levels look pretty good. Hold your comments, hold your questions for just a little bit. We're going to get to them, I promise you. But I'm going to tell you guys in total how many graphics we've got to go over right now. It is 11 graphics that we have to go over before we start getting into questions here, because we have 5 different threats of severe weather here in Arkansas. I don't know who pissed off Mother Nature this much for us to have 5 days of severe weather potential, but we've got 5 days we've got to talk about here. So before we get into all of that here, we got to talk about what's going on right here, right now. And we have some showers and some isolated thunderstorms here in northwestern Arkansas. These are loud thunderstorms, mainly for the potential of some small hail and gusty winds upwards to 40 to 50 miles per hour. This activity is quickly moving to the east-northeast at about 60 to 70 miles per hour. So this activity is going to be out of here within the next hour or two. And then we're going to have the other round that's coming in from northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, by the way, southwestern Missouri. This line of storms is going to move into Arkansas as we move into later on this afternoon and into this evening and then eventually into tonight here. So, like I said before, we've got a lot to talk about here. We're going to go over the graphics as quickly as possible, and then we're going to get to you guys' questions. I want to make this clear. If you end up missing this live stream or something like that, I do realize it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. You can always come back and watch it on Facebook or on YouTube, so you don't have to worry about all that, okay? So let's go ahead and get started here. First and foremost, we do have a tornado watch in place across northwestern Arkansas. This tornado watch is going to go until 10 o'clock this evening. I do believe this tornado watch is likely going to get extended a little bit to the south and east over the next couple of hours once we get a better idea what the line is going to do as it moves into Arkansas here. So we'll let you guys know on all that. First and foremost, we don't control the watches or warnings. That's the National Weather Service. Once they put it out, we'll let you guys know. But the overall tornado watch right now for our folks up there in northwestern Arkansas is going to go until 10 o'clock this evening at this point, okay? So let's talk about today's threat. Rich, do you want to talk about this one? Because we've got, I promise you, we've got a whole buffet table of severe weather to talk about. So do you want to go ahead? You want to go ahead and take this one at this point?
Yeah. So today mainly we're watching for the northwest portion of Arkansas because, as you can see on your screen right now, you've got a level 2 threat for most of the diagonal corner of Arkansas. I guess you could say that.
Pretty much a half of the state if you divided it in half. Yeah,
and then your very sliver level 1. And basically, what we're going to be looking for today is rather larger hail in your northwestern part of Arkansas, along with a potential tornado threat. And if we can go ahead and kind of slide over to our next threat here real quick.
Yep. This is the timing map. The timing map. That's going to be the next one.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about timing real quick before we talk about actual threats then. So we can see in here our zone 1 is now to 12 a.m. And that would be in our northwestern part, because a lot of these storms, the way that they're coming in, they're just kind of going in a diagonal fashion, moving through as they go east, northeast. And then as we continue onward into the evening, we'll start finally reaching a little bit lower down zone 2 from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And largely, though, the main areas that we're looking at for the most potential for severe weather is going to be in your kind of zone 1 section. And if you flipped over to our next little threat area here,
that's going to be, so basically it's going to be zone 2, and that goes from DeQueen all the way up to the Walnut Ridge area, and that's going to go from about 9 o'clock tonight till 5 o'clock in the morning. So pretty much like you said, that line of storms that's moving in northeastern Oklahoma, Missouri, up there in southeastern Kansas right now. That activity will move into Arkansas as we move later on tonight, a little later on this afternoon into tonight here. I've already seen some questions about, is about southern Arkansas and eastern Arkansas. Right now, we're not expecting this to make it that far south and east, but
No.
keep in mind, this is 1 out of 5 severe weather days here, so that's something that we'll have to continue to monitor here. But yeah, so timing is going to be pretty much from now all the way to about 5 o'clock in the morning, especially for our folks in western and northwestern Arkansas here. So, Rich, let's talk about the tornado threat for today here, and I'll let you go ahead and take over that if you can see it on your side.
Yep. So we've got a tornado, a level 1 risk from Mina all the way up to Mountain Home, and that's going to cover pretty much most of your zone 1 to a little bit of your zone 2 timing, and that's going to be really the large area that we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on throughout the night, as that continues to move into Arkansas. And as it says at the top, from 7 p.m. tonight to 5 a.m., that's pretty much where our main focus is going to be watching in that particular area, just for that potential tornado threat. Obviously, it's a level 1, so it's not. We're not talking about any type of tornado outbreaks. We're not talking about massive, tornadic threat. Really, our main focus is really going to be more on the potential for a spin up, potential for the larger the other threats, the hail, the wind, things of that nature. So if you're worried about tornadoes today's not going to be in comparison to the future days. It's not going to be as bad.
Yeah. So basically, like Rich, just adding on to what you had said about tornado threat here, we're not expecting this to be a massive tornado outbreak, especially like what's going on up there in Iowa right now, where they have a 15% hatched moderate risk up there. So we're not expecting that, because we're missing a lot of ingredients for this to be a big time tornado threat here. But we do have to watch, especially for our folks in western, northwestern Arkansas, along those line of storms as we move into the night. I think if there were to be a tornado threat tonight, it will probably be in what we call QLCS along the line, those brief, weak spin-ups along the line. That will be something that we'll have to watch for our folks up there in western and northwestern Arkansas here. So for those that are wondering the timing, this is pretty much from now all the way to about 5 o'clock in the morning across our area, especially for western and northwestern Arkansas here. And keep in mind, if you missed a graphic, something like that, it's not the end of the world. You don't need to freak out on us. You can go to the Facebook page. It's going to tell you the exact same information that we're going over right now here. So talk about the damaging wind threat and the large hail potential. As you can see, it's hatched up there in northwestern Arkansas, 2-inch in diameter hail, and also the wind potential for today for our folks in western, northwestern Arkansas here. Now, let's talk about day 2, because like I said before, for those that are tuning in, the reason why we're not immediately jumping to questions is because we have 5 days of severe weather. I don't think a lot of people know that. We have 5 days of severe weather that we've got to go over and talk about before we get into questions here. So be patient. If you don't have patience, you got to learn it. Be patient with us. We've got 5 days of severe weather to talk about, and we can't talk about it all at once within 5 seconds here, okay? So we promise we're going to get to your questions. No need to get frustrated or anything like that. But we've got 5 days of severe weather we've got to talk about here, okay? So let's talk about tomorrow here. Now, tomorrow obviously is I would say right now, based off of the 5, if you were to put the 5 days on the table, this will probably be your biggest threat tomorrow here with the level 3 across Arkansas, for much of Arkansas, from northern, central, down into southwestern Arkansas here. So this is going to be for the potential severe thunderstorms will be likely. Some of these thunderstorms could be intense. I've already had questions throughout the day. Is this going to get upgraded and stuff like that? I don't think it will. I think this is a pretty solid enhanced risk day, but it doesn't mean, let your guard down just because it's not a level 4. You still have to keep your guard up here. And this is going to be broken down into 2 different rounds tomorrow here. And I know people hate that because it confuses a lot of people. But this is going to be broken down into 2 different rounds. So you're going to have one first thing in the morning. That's going to be 10 a.m. till 3. And then you're going to have another one that's going to come in throughout the afternoon hours tomorrow into tomorrow night. So right now, as it stands, the 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. time frame, depending on how the environment looks to be where the majority of the severe weather will be. That doesn't mean that you won't see anything from that 10 to 3 p.m. time frame. I think if your ingredients really start to come together during the afternoon and the evening, but you still have that severe weather threat as we move into tomorrow morning and into the early part of your tomorrow afternoon here. So keep that in mind for tomorrow here. Okay, so this is also going to be damaging winds, hail, and the tornado threat. The tornado threat is pretty much for the entire state of Arkansas for tomorrow. It's a level 1 across the board. But the biggest threat for tomorrow is something that I don't want anyone just ignoring, is the damaging wind threat and the hail threat. Because, the higher you go up on these levels, the more people start focusing on tornadoes. They start focusing on, it's just a tornado threat. It's tornado or nothing. It's not like that. You have damaging winds and you have large hail to deal with here. So I think tomorrow, depending on what the storm mode looks like, the damaging wind threat looks to be the primary number 1 threat. And then you have the tornado threat, and then you have the large hail threat here. So just kind of keep that in mind as we move into tomorrow here. So over the next couple of days, if you don't know where you live, it's going to be time for you to figure out where you live, Arkansas. That's just how it's going to be. Biggest threat is going to be the potential of seeing damaging winds, large hail, and the tornado threat here. I want to make that clear at this point. So the level 3 is in place for tomorrow. I think tomorrow, out of the last 5 days, looks to be your bigger threat. And then we'll start watching, Saturday, we'll start watching Sunday and stuff like that here. But tomorrow right now stands out across much of the state here. So let's talk about the Thursday time frame here. So now we have tonight, we have tomorrow, we have Thursday, we have Saturday, and we have Sunday here, okay? So this is Thursday's threat here. Now, obviously, we don't have the hour-by-hour specific timing for Thursday just yet, but this is going to be Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. We have a level 2 risk across western, northern, central, down into southern and southwestern Arkansas, with the level 1 over there in eastern Arkansas. Once again, damaging winds, large hail, isolated tornadoes will be possible during this time frame as we move into Thursday. I think Thursday, as it stands right now, we'll keep an eye on the tornado threat. Once again, I think the damaging wind threat will probably take number 1, and then you would have a battle between, the tornado threat and the hail threat for number 2 as we move into that Thursday time frame, okay? And now, let's move into Saturday here. So Friday, if you have plans on Friday, you're going to be good to go. You don't have to worry about too much on Friday. But Saturday, once again, severe weather on the board here. Level 2 already for our folks in central, over to western and the southwestern Arkansas here. Main threat, once again, damaging winds, large hail. I think the tornado threat on Saturday needs to be watched very, very closely because of the fact that there's going to be a boundary nearby, and that is where the tornado threat may be kind of what we call maximized. We'll watch that as we move into Saturday. Saturday may end up being a day where possibly some areas in western Arkansas may get bumped up to a level 3. We'll keep an eye on that at this point here, okay? And now, to get to the last one, is going to be Sunday for our folks in central, in eastern, and northeastern Arkansas here. Once again, damaging winds, large hail, and that tornado threat is going to be on the table as we move into that Sunday time frame here. So, like I said before, 5 different days of severe weather here, okay? If you do not know where you live, this is a time to pull that cell phone out or whatever device you have and get on Google and find out where you live, folks. You're going to have to over the next couple of days here. We've got 5 days of severe weather. You got to know where you live here, okay? We're not going to sit here and answer, specific city and county questions for 5 straight days. You're going to have to meet us halfway. You're going to have to know where you live here, and you got to know where your levels are at this point. So, now that I've gone over all of those days here, that is 5 days. Imagine waking up to that this morning. Like, I saw that, and I was like, man, who pissed off Mother Nature this much to have 5 different days of severe weather? Now we can talk about the questions here at this point. Okay, so this is the time now, for those that are wondering, this is the time right now, if at any point, to ask questions here, because we're kind of in what we call this quiet mode, where, we don't have much going on radar right now except for the storms in western and northwestern Arkansas, but none of these are actually severe at the moment. So this is where you're going to have, this is the time right now to ask those questions, Arkansas. So one thing I do want to make this clear, Kim, you hit it right on the nail. Folks, we can't predict where a tornado is going to strike. And another thing is, over the next 5 days, don't prioritize the tornado threat. A lot of people love doing that. I don't know why they do that, but severe weather is more than just tornadoes, right? So keep that in mind. You're going to have damaging wind threats. You're going to have hail threats over the next 5 days. It's not tornado or nothing. So keep that in mind as we move over the next 5 days. You've got to know where you live, and you got to stop prioritizing the tornado threat over everything. It's going to be damaging winds. It's something that you're going to have to watch over the next 5 days too. And I think tomorrow, in particular I wouldn't be shocked if SBC ends up highlighting that damaging wind threat as a hatch for the potential of seeing some significant damaging winds as we move into tomorrow here. So, Rich, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just take over everything. I'm gonna let you speak for a little bit.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the fact that if you guys have been keeping up with the news and all that and saw what happened in Houston, those weren't tornadoes that took out 1 million people's electric. And those weren't tornadoes that bent actual electric utility poles that bent them in half, the middle ones, and took out all that power for days, and they're still recovering. So that's why we need to take significant wind threats very seriously, because they're more destructive than tornadoes, in my opinion.
Definitely. And I believe it was a 100 mile per hour ratio that had went through down there in Texas. So yeah, I tell y'all this all the time, that tornadoes, the damaging winds are a little bit more of a bigger threat to worry about versus the tornado threat, because of the fact that it's so widespread and it can do so much damage. I know, obviously there's going to be somebody who's going to be like, well, tornadoes do the same thing, but tornadoes are more of a localized point. Damaging winds is more widespread. Everybody sees it when it's damaging winds. When it's tornadoes, it's more of a localized, isolated area of where the tornado went through here. So that's why we tell you all the time, don't ignore those damaging wind threats. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, can we go back to Tuesday today?
Yep, I can.
So we have that on the screen for questions.
Yep. And
so I noticed a couple questions about today.
Are you worrying about I'm going to have the timing up for those that are wanting to come in and ask about the overall timing. So
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
So Ashley, she asked, will Wednesday storms be more of a scattered or in a line? I'm going to say more, it's going to be, when tomorrow's threat is more of a combination of both. You're going to have, combination of both. You're going to have some line segments down there you're going to have to watch down there in southern Arkansas and southwest. And then you're going to have to watch for these isolated cells that may get going. Now, obviously, it depends on what model data or guidance you want to go off of. Some of them are wanting to keep it just more scattered, with these supercells kind of developing over the area, and then you have some that wanting to put this as a big line that pushes through. So I do believe it's going to be a combination of both as we move into tomorrow here. Okay, so let me see here. Like I said, folks, this is the time right now for anybody that has questions and stuff like that. This is the time right now to ask. Don't wait till the warnings start or anything like that to ask those questions. This is the time right now to get that taken care of here. One last thing I do want to point out from Kim, we do not control the watches and warnings. We love y'all to death, but we're not that good. The day we start issuing watches and warnings will be the day that I don't have any more hair. So we don't control that here. That's National Weather Service in Little Rock and National Weather Service over there in Norman. Those are the ones that control the watches and warnings. Once they put them out, we just tell you guys where they're at and who's impacting here. So thank you, Beth, for this comment here. People need to take responsibility as adults. Thank you for the heads up. Rich, this one is very important. School tomorrow. A lot of people, we still have school going on across the board. A lot of people still have kids and stuff that are going to be going to school. One thing I want to stress right now, especially tomorrow afternoon, is if we have a tornado warning like at 2:45, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, either in central or in southern or southwest Arkansas, do not go get your kids. And I know how bad that sounds, but you got to realize something here. When you go and pick them up, you're putting them out in the elements whenever you're dealing with a tornado warning. There's a reason why schools have, those precautions in place, because that protects them and it protects the kids. So if something like that happens tomorrow afternoon, I know the first instinct as a parent is going to be going and trying to get them and get them back home. Don't do that, because you're going to have to predict the timing of going to get them, traffic. If the storm speeds up on you, then you're in a situation where you're outside and you have no shelter, etc. So if that happens tomorrow, I want to reassure you guys, those schools, they have that precaution in place for a reason. So if a tornado warning happens, you've got to take safety in your own hands. Rest assured that those school districts and stuff like that are going to make sure that the kiddos and all that are taken care of. But don't get them out of that school, because once you get them out of that building, it's putting them within the element. So I wanted to make that clear, because I didn't realize I think this is the last week of school for most areas here for tomorrow. With it being the 21st, and you have the snow days from I believe January. So just keep that in mind for tomorrow here, okay? And then also for tonight, for those that are coming in and asking about tonight, the timing's on the graphic right now here. Find out where you live, know your counties, know your cities, and know what your zone's going to be at this point, okay? So, Rich, I'm going to let you take this one here. So, traveling on Thursday here from Hamburg to Little Rock should be okay, or should I change my appointment?
On Thursday.
Yep.
So Thursday, since we don't have a very specific timing on Thursday afternoon to evening, and we're kind of waiting to see how that potentially kind of develops in terms of that particular. I mean, it's kind of hard to say right now. I would honestly say be more weather aware. I think we'll have more information by Wednesday about Thursday, about specific timing, specific placements. I say just be more weather aware as we get closer to Thursday.
Sounds good. So we've got this one question about tomorrow afternoon here. So tomorrow afternoon, how bad is it going to be here? So for those that are wondering about tomorrow, like I said before, when you have that level 3 in place, you know, kind of how like it was last time when it busted, you know, a lot of people were frustrated about it. They were like, you know, we were expecting this to be, you know, Armageddon, and, you know, your town's going to be wiped off the face of the earth and all that. We're not expecting all that, folks. Okay, you should never get frustrated when severe weather busts. Tomorrow is going to be, I know, another general level 3 SWAT day where you keep your awareness up. You stay aware of the situation for tomorrow. If you see severe weather, you know what to do. If you don't, then you go from there here. But we're not expecting this to be a massive, you know, every single person in 75 counties is going to see severe weather tomorrow. At level 3, the reason why it's so broad is because, one, damaging winds. Really worried about damaging wind threat for tomorrow. And then, number 2, you have all that instability, you have all the ingredients in such a widespread area that's the reason why SBC put that level 3 out for much of Arkansas. So just kind of keep that in mind for tomorrow here, and keep that in mind for the next 5 days too. You know, if you don't see severe weather over the next 5 days, consider yourself blessed, because it's going to be really hard to dodge severe weather over the next 5 days across Arkansas. So, but yeah, to kind of answer your question, yeah, I'm not expecting this to be a massive, you know, big time outbreak tomorrow, but just make sure that you keep your awareness up as you move into tomorrow here. So this is a really good one here. So we have a softball game in Clarksville at 8 o'clock tonight. How's the weather going to be? Rich, what do you think about that? I'm going to let you take over.
At 8 p.m. tonight in Clarksville?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I would definitely stay weather aware tonight, especially in that particular zone. For Clarksville, being that that's kind of in between, you know, your zone 1 and zone 2, that's really cutting it close in terms of what the threats and all that. I think we're gonna have that line of storms actually probably move in by around that time.
Yeah,
so
around that 8 o'clock time frame. Yeah,
that might get a little difficult.
So let me see here. Let me go over that real quick. All right, so I wish I was in Arkansas helping you guys out forecast, Kayla. We would love it. We appreciate it. But yeah, next 5 days is gonna be crazy. Let's see. Do we have a graphic for tomorrow? No, we do not right now, because we gotta wait and see on what happens tonight. Tonight's threat is going to kind of play a role on where the overall severe threat is going to be for tomorrow. So we don't have a timing map out for right now for tomorrow. We will probably sometime later on tonight. But we've got to get past this threat first before we make a timing map for tomorrow here. But I can give you a broad timing for tomorrow here if you give me just 1 second. That's going to be from about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to 3 o'clock. That's round number 1. And then round number 2 is going to be from about 5 p.m. tomorrow to 11 o'clock. So if you put a broad timing for the entire state, pretty much from 10 a.m. tomorrow till 11 o'clock tomorrow night is where the majority of the weather is going to be impacting us here in Arkansas. And keep in mind that, like Kim said, if you miss anything, you can always rewind the live stream, or you can just check us out on Facebook at this point. Okay, so school in Northwestern Arkansas is letting out at 1:15. Is that tomorrow, or that's going to be tomorrow? Is that tomorrow or the next couple of days here? So timing for tomorrow, like I said before, 10 a.m. till 3, 5 p.m. to 11. It's broken down into 2 different rounds. The reason why we don't have a timing map for tomorrow yet is because we're trying to figure out where the round 1 and round 2 is going to be across Arkansas. So this is why we have at the top of the map, we have the statewide storm timing. That gives you a broad timing on when to expect those storms here. So pretty much throughout the day tomorrow, but it's broken down into the 2 different rounds. 10 a.m. till 3, and then 5 p.m. to 11 across the board here. And one thing I do want to make this clear too, especially for those that have storm anxiety, we have a storm anxiety channel on Discord that we welcome everybody to try to join in. If one of my guys can put a link to that, that would be greatly appreciated. But
yeah, and then when you join, announce that you're here for the storm anxiety group chat, so we can put you in that room.
Definitely. So we have that. It's a community that a lot of people have that anxiety. We have people in there that kind of, that helps out and everything. So if you have that, like I said before, check out the Discord channel. It's really, really helpful, especially in situations like this, whenever you have one of these big-time active periods of severe weather here, okay? So, good afternoon. What does North Little Rock look like for tonight? I would say tonight, it is going to be very, 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 very late before Little Rock sees anything. This is mainly going to be for our folks in western and northwestern Arkansas for tonight. We'll see if storms actually make it to Little Rock tonight. It's a very, 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 very big question mark. But we'll have to wait and see. I think northwestern Arkansas has the bigger shot of seeing that severe weather that's moving in the night here. As a matter of fact, we can go back over to our timing here. So Little Rock is like right there along the edge of zone 2. So it's pretty much from 9 p.m. till 5. I think Little Rock, if you see any storms tonight, it's probably going to be around that 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning time frame if they make it this far southeast. It's going to be a big question mark on if they make it this far. But northwestern Arkansas definitely has the better shot of seeing severe weather as we move into tomorrow here, okay? So, not tomorrow, actually tomorrow too, but tonight as well. So, a lot of people that are going to be asking, storm weary, Hot Springs, storm weary, Little Rock, storm weary, the Wynn area, the Cabot area, Central Arkansas. Right now I want to reassure you guys, it's going to be late if storms make it this far southeast tonight. It's going to be late. We're talking 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning before we see anything this far southeast. Mainly for our folks over in western and northwestern Arkansas is mainly going to see the potential of seeing severe weather that's moving tonight. And then obviously we'll look at tomorrow here. We'll have a better idea on how tomorrow's looking. As a matter of fact, I may pull up Futurecast coming up in a little bit so you guys kind of have a visual on what the timing looks like. But we'll have a time map for you guys later on this evening about that here, okay? So, like I said, for folks, check out that link. Very, very helpful, guys. Very, 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 very helpful here, okay? So, for tonight, the level of severity for the storms here, mainly is going to be level 2 across the board. Damaging winds, large hail, and that isolated tornado threat that we'll have to keep an eye on here. So, should I change my doctor's appointment? When is your doctor's appointment for tomorrow in Hot Springs here? If it's a little bit after 10 o'clock, I would highly suggest changing it just to be on the safe side. Like I said before, we're going to wait and see what tonight's data looks like before we make a timing map. But right now, it does look like the storms will start coming in late tomorrow morning into the early afternoon, with another round being possible as we move into tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening at this point here, okay? So, let me see here. So, when you be going over Friday? Friday is going to be good to go, Katie. If you have any plans on Friday, you're going to be good to go. You don't have to worry about it right now here. We're not expecting any storms in Arkansas on Friday. So it goes as the following. Tonight, tomorrow, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are the 5 days for seeing severe weather. So Friday, you're going to be good to go. It's going to be warm. It's going to be humid. So if you have an outdoor, you had an outdoor wedding, make sure, everyone's staying hydrated and stuff like that here. But not really expecting any severe weather on Friday here. So you're going to be good to go. But I would definitely make sure that you have an extra amount of water bottles, stuff like that, because it is going to be pretty warm across the area here. Okay, so let me see here. So about the Scott area for tonight, that's going to be in Central Arkansas. Like I said, 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning. If storms make it this far south, these guys, we'll let you guys know when it makes it down into Central Arkansas. But keep in mind, we cover the entire state of Arkansas here. So our attention is going to be in western and northwestern Arkansas, tracking the line of storms. But then we'll keep an eye out for Central Arkansas later on tonight here. But that is a big if storms make it this far southeast. Like, that is a big, big if. No idea if they're going to make it this far as we move into the night here. Okay, so let me see here. Yeah, Josh, I ended up that one meme that you sent me, Rich, from Josh. Yeah, I saw that. It was funny, man. I didn't get the chance to respond to you, but that was funny, and it does kind of release some of the tension from what happened with the last event here. So let me see here. Rich, do you have anything you want to add at this point? We'll go back over to the current radar.
No, I think you covered it pretty well. Yeah.
So, one last thing, and I'm gonna let you go over this. It is our tornado warning policy, the tornado warning coverage policy. So I'm gonna go over that and have that pulled up. So you go ahead.
Yeah, let me get that pulled up as well here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so we've recently had to change our policies in regards to how you communicate with us and how we communicate with you during a tornado warning. We are turning off comments on Facebook during tornado warnings. That's simply because we've had too many issues, way too many issues, from conflicts to false reporting to a lot of being stuff, extremely rude to our volunteers who are moderators. They are just volunteer moderators. They do it out of the goodness of their heart, and they've been very stressed and very pressed, because of the fact we've had so much back-to-back severe weather. And so, of course, we're operating on some fatigue when it gets to like day 3, day 4 of the threat, and of course we're going to move a little slower, but treating them terribly because of that is just not acceptable. So we just decided comments are going to be turned off, and during coverage, questions will not be answered on the air. So a lot of times people were getting furious, especially with me, when I'm sitting there and I had to cover per Cameron and all that. Both Cameron and I both don't have time to really look at questions while we're in the middle while we're in the middle of trying to get people to safety, trying to guide them, get them the information they need in order to stay ahead of the tornado warnings, and so obviously we can't answer questions during that time, and our moderators are not going to be expected to answer questions as well. But if you do need your questions answered during a tornado warning coverage, like say for instance, you are in the path of this storm. Yeah. We don't want to remove the ability that if you're in the path of the storm, we want you to be informed. That's the whole point. So, you can reach out to us through YouTube. You can reach out to us through Discord. Our Discord community is 24/7. All the questions get answered pretty quickly. We have a whole bunch of Discord moderators just waiting to answer all these questions. Yeah. Like, it's a wide open, easy to use question answer system.
And I was going to say,
ask your question there.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be honest with you, we can get to you guys a lot faster over there than we ever can on Facebook. Because Facebook, you get so many comments that come in and it gets buried. Discord 24/7. So people that come in, I mean, if you've ever used our Discord service, your question gets answered sometimes almost instantaneously. If there's any delay, it's only probably a few minutes or something like that. But we highly recommend y'all do that, especially during tornado warning coverage, guys. And I want to make this clear too. This is not a you can't talk or anything like that. This does not apply to like right now. Right now is a Q&A live stream. We have the comments open on Facebook for y'all to come in and ask questions and stuff like that. And you will always be able to post stuff on the regular post as well. But the main reason, the driving behind the reason why the comments are turned off on Facebook during tornado warnings is because during that time we're not really supposed to answer questions during that point, because when you're covering a tornado warning, you got to make sure that those that are impacted are getting as much information as possible, because that is a threat to somebody's life and property. So you got to make sure that they're getting as much information as possible, and we can't just stop what we're doing, ask questions, answer questions, and then go back to that. We can't do that. So we've got to make sure that everybody is, if those that are in that tornado warning are getting the most 100% information that they can on our page here. So just keep that in mind. That is only when we have tornado warnings. Keep that in mind. It's not right now like when we have Q&As or anything like that, but that is only when we have tornado warning live coverage. That is a 100% on radar, looking at every product to try to keep everybody safe and making sure those that are in that warning directly are getting that 100% information without any conflicts or any issues like that here. So y'all can always check us out on YouTube or in Discord if you need those questions answered. And I'm going to tell you guys, like I said before, to repeat, to kind of, piggyback off of what Rich said, Discord is 24/7. And I highly recommend y'all go check that out. You get your questions answered. I mean, if it's not instantaneously, it's a much shorter delay than it is on Facebook here, guys. All right, so other than that, I think that's really it in terms of all the questions that we've seen. Jennifer, we do have a YouTube channel. It's the same name as the page. It's gonna be Arkansas Weather Watchers. If you guys have been on YouTube, people over there, I've had comments of people saying that they love the channel. Go check it out here, guys. But like I said before, that doesn't mean every post and stuff like that, the comments are going to be turned off. It's not like that at all. It's just during tornado warning coverage here, okay? So, save the DoorDash in Little Rock tomorrow. I'm going to say, if you could do it before the storms get here, first thing tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. But during the storms, I probably wouldn't recommend it here. So, to look at radar one last time here, guys, before we hop off of here. Right now, not much on the board. We've got some scattered shower storms across western, northwestern Arkansas. This activity has died off because there's what we call a cap in place. This right here from southeastern Kansas. Let me get my directions right. Southeastern Kansas, southwestern Missouri, and in northeastern Oklahoma. This activity right in here is going to be pushing to Arkansas as we move later on this afternoon and into tonight. This is where you're going to have damaging winds, large hail, and we will keep an eye on that isolated tornado potential as we move into tonight here. Okay, so great policy. Thank you guys for keeping us informed and safe. Thank you so much for understanding. It really means a lot. This is one of the driving reasons, y'all would save the family in Hot Springs during the last tornado. We want to make sure when there's a tornado warning that you guys are getting 1,000% the information, where it's going, who's going to be impacted, where's the rotation, all that. We want to make sure that you guys are getting all that information here, okay? So one last thing before we hop off of here. I will not be here starting Thursday evening. I will not be here for 10 days. I'm going to be joining our Chase Director, Derek, on Chasecation. So Rich will be in charge during that point for any live streams, forecasts, and stuff like that. So please treat him with respect, guys. He's been a big help for us here at Arkansas Weather Watchers. Y'all be good. I promise you guys. He does a great job of keeping y'all informed. So I'm turning the keys over to you for the next 10 days after Thursday. But right now we're gonna be here as a team. We're gonna be here all the way till Thursday. But at this point, I think that's really it in terms of everything here, guys. So we're gonna hop off of here. Rich, what do you think in terms of the YouTube continuous live stream? When do you think that'll probably go up?
Yeah, we could probably start putting that up here pretty quickly after the Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have that information for you guys on the page as soon as this is over with. Let's zoom this out, kind of give you guys a perspective on what's going on. Like I said before, this is current radar right now. We've got some scattered showers up here in northwestern Arkansas and western Arkansas. A lot of storms through here. We got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, for our folks over there just northwest of the Waldron area. That's going to be Logan and Scott County. We'll have that information on the page coming up here in just a little bit. Mainly for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hail. But other than that, guys, no ongoing tornado warnings or anything like that at this point. And I want to reassure you guys right now here, kind of go over that real fast. We do have a tornado watch in place till 10 o'clock tonight for our folks in northwestern Arkansas. I do believe we'll see what ends up happening with the line. I don't know if they're going to extend the tornado watch or not. We'll keep an eye on that. But right now, that does include for our folks up there in northwestern Arkansas. And I missed the part about tomorrow. Was it upgraded to a level 3? Yes, it is a level 3 for much of Arkansas, mainly for the potential damaging winds, hail, and a few tornadoes as we move into tomorrow here. So, from myself and our Executive Director, Rich, that is all we've got for you guys right now. Radar updates are going to continue on the page, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated right in your source for all things Arkansas weather.